Hi, I'm Sheila, and I'm here to help you be their parent. Let's chat about respect, shall we? As the grown up in your child's life, you set the tone for how they show respect toward others. If you are respectful of wait staff, coworkers, neighbors, school staff, etc., your children are more likely to be the same. However, if you tend to berate wait staff, talk about your horrible coworkers at home, argue with neighbors over minor inconveniences, and always side with your child when it comes to the staff at their school, your child is going to speak the same way towards others. And I understand there are rude, incompetent, and or downright mean people in the world. It's just how it is. And I would say in the past, like say 20 years ago, it was a much smaller number than it is today. And a lot of that is because we are creating more of them by not teaching our kids how to be respectful towards others. You need to example to your kids what you want to see them do with other people. When you go out to eat, at the checkout, parent-teacher conferences that you take your child with you. But also you need to talk to them about how you expect them to treat others. Tell them the importance of being understanding of another person. The cashier might have been rude, but that doesn't mean we have to be. They might be having a bad day, and by us being kind, we might help them turn it around. And we all know there are bad doctors, bad people in military, Walmart cashiers, truck drivers, educators, whatever profession you can think of. But you just can't say that everyone in that profession is awful because of that one. And we can't just let that one person we have contact with that was disrespectful, mean, and or incompetent make us question the character or skills of everyone else in that profession. This is especially true at school. I feel like a lot of parents see a teacher or school being blasted on social media, so they think all teachers or schools are that way. And you can't let what you hear and see cloud your judgment about your school. And I will always say, though, if something is going on, you absolutely need to advocate for your kid. Now, I'm going to exaggerate for just a minute as an example, because parents are getting all over social media and they are blasting a teacher for something like they won't give a child a snack every 20 minutes when it isn't medically necessary. That is not a realistic expectation of a teacher, especially when they have like 20 kids. And so whenever I hear one of those types of social outrage, I have a few questions that I'd like answered before I jump on the bandwagon with that parent and say, yes, absolutely, you should be upset. And that's, first of all, have you spoken to the adult in question, whether it's the teacher, in our district, it's always been paraeducators outside at recess. So, they deal with a lot out there too. So whatever the adult is, have you spoken directly to them? Okay, that's important. And then maybe once you hear their side, have you set up a time that you met with the adult and your child to try to navigate some kind of, whatever the issue is, some way to resolve it? That would be good. It's teaching your kids that you can't just get your way just because you want your way. We need to compromise with others. And then have you documented your concerns? Absolutely. If you think something is up, document it. Every time they tell you something, you write it down, give as much detail as you can. And then what is it that you want done? And is it realistic? You can't expect a teacher to give a child a snack every 20 minutes just because you think that's what they need and that's what they get at home. That's not realistic. But maybe they need a mid-morning snack and maybe everybody in the classroom is going to get one. That would be a more realistic expectation. And then if all of those things haven't been met and you still feel like there's something missing, did you take it to the next level? Whether you're having an issue with the teacher, did you go to the principal? If you're having an issue with the principal, did you take it to the school board or the superintendent, whatever the levels are for your district? All of that should be done before even thinking about putting it all over social media. And even then, think twice about putting out info about your child, their behavior, their education. Think about it. Would you want your parents putting all of that about you when you were a kid all over the internet? I'm just saying, we don't need to be blasting everybody on the internet. And really and truly, most teachers are professionals and they want your child to succeed and they want to help you accomplish that. They are willing to work with realistic expectations and plans that work within their typical school day. Now, if it's something that's not going to work in a typical school day, then there has to be, the official accommodations, the 504s, IEPs, whatever is necessary. If it's something your child really needs and there is a medical or cognitive reason, then you need to get all of that written and documented in those formal forms. That way, there can be accommodations made to help the teacher meet those needs of your child. Now, if you want to laugh, go search on any social media platform for ridiculous parent requests. There's Honest Teacher Vibes, and through Board Teachers and Teachers Off Duty. She's involved with all of those. And they share often ridiculous parent requests that teachers have sent in. They're crazy. I'm not going to lie. They're the extreme. They really are. Most of us don't get those, but they are the extreme. And after I hear them, I always want to try to find the parent that I'd love to talk to them that came up with one of these ridiculous requests and say, come show me how you want me to accomplish that with my 19 to 24, 30 kids that I have in my room. Like, they're just not thinking about anybody else except their child, which we need to do. But in a school setting, we also have to think about the room as a whole. And understand that most teachers will try to accomplish anything they can for the kids, but they will try even harder if parents are respectful of the teachers and that the parents acknowledge that they are asking for something extra. That goes a long way to showing that you understand where the teacher's coming from and understanding that you are asking extra, but you really feel like this is something your child needs. And a lot of teachers will do their best to accommodate that. And parents, it's really important that you speak kindly and respectfully about the school staff at home. Whatever you say and the tone you use about the grown-ups at your child's school, that is what your child will use. So if you're frustrated with the grown-ups, that's okay. We're allowed to have our emotions, our feelings, and opinions about a something. Just don't voice it in front of your kid, especially if you're angry. You need to take a beat because your child still has to interact with all of those adults. And if they start speaking that way to the adults, it's just going to make the problem bigger. So we want to try to minimize that so that we can get to the bottom of it and solve the problem. And I know it's challenging raising respectful kids in this culture. But if we all put in the effort and work to be kind to those around us and tell our kids how important it is to treat others with dignity and respect, we could see a change that would lead to more positive interactions. I know that if we all put in the effort, it would be so worthwhile. If you have any questions or need a sounding board, you can message me on Instagram at BeTheirParent. And if you found this episode helpful, follow, set up automatic downloads, review, and share. I'd appreciate it.